You know what? It helps if I go around on the right side of the anvil. Hey guys, I'm Ray, and we are streaming blacksmithing. Hello and welcome everyone. I'm so glad to be here today. It is a little bit on the colder side today, so we get the lovely sweatshirt back out. This weekend it was super warm. It was like in the 80s, and I think it actually peaked at 90 degrees yesterday. All that's in Fahrenheit as usual. Um, so Friday's stream, we kind of did a little bit of ticky tack and finished up our scissors. The one thing that I didn't really get to do is kind of heat treat these guys. By the end of the stream, they were cutting a little bit. It was very rippy. These are still very dull, but they do cut. I have heat treated these guys. And so once I get the video out, you will be able to see that process. But yeah, I think they look really pretty, and I'm really super excited that I have them finished. So yay! Hey Mahalo, welcome to the stream. So I think the first thing that we're gonna do today is I'm gonna show you that they cut. So this is this is one of those printer test pages. So it's for my printer. So we're gonna use the scissors. Check that out. Lovely. More cuts. They're a little on the dull side, like I said. So they're trying not to cut. But yeah, if I go, if I hold it a little bit, they cut just fine. So I do need to pull them apart and sharpen them one last time so they can get a much cleaner cut. I can see that they're it's a little bit raggedy as far as the cut. So all I need to do is just finish up sharpening these up, and they'll be beautiful. They work very nice. I'm actually shocked and surprised, but you know what? We made it happen. We worked through all of our problems and we came out the other side, and we've got a working piece. So I'm super excited about that, and I'm super glad that you guys were here to watch me do that and to help me figure things out. So thank you guys. And you know what? If I can do this, you guys can too. So we're going to put those there so they're out of the way. And I also pulled this one out because this is what those scissors were made out of. We had two of these guys, and we turned them into a pair of scissors. So super happy, super excited about that. All right. So today we are going to take this piece of 5/8 inch square stock, and obviously imperial inches, and what we're going to do with it is we are going to make hopefully a bottle opener, but definitely we are going to make some animal sculptures, starting with these. I have 3 of these, so I want to do one each day this week. So today, I think I want to start with a lizard. So we're going to heat this guy up, and we are actually going to start with upsetting the center area. Then we're going to cut it into an X shape and start making, hopefully, a lizard bottle opener. The idea is to be able to open a bottle with the tail of the lizard, but I want a full sculpture that kind of, can sit on your desk or on your counter or whatever and look pretty, but also be able to be picked up and open a bottle with it. So we shall see how well this goes. And if I can't make it happen today, then maybe I'll make it happen Wednesday or Friday. But yeah, we have an ad starting in about a minute. And once that ad is over, I will kind of talk a little bit about where I got this idea from, the approach that we're going to take, and we'll start working. So yeah, I'm super excited to be here. Although I do feel like the weekend is never long enough. I mean, I got nothing done I mean, I guess I didn't get nothing done. I felt like I got nothing done, but I got a lot of stuff partially done. So we started on Saturday and we got all of our taxes together. So all of the W-2s and all of the receipts and everything. So we got all that together and that needs to go to the tax person, but we haven't gotten there yet. So fingers crossed, I will get my booty organized and get that to my tax person tomorrow when I have my break. And then we went to the garden supplies store and we got some seeds and some starter trays because I think this year we want to start doing a little bit of gardening. I think that we have a very large yard, and for many, many years, the butler has been trying to tell me that we need either a greenhouse or a garden or another shed or something to kind of reduce the amount of mowing that the butler has to do every week. So we decided that this year is going to be the year. We are going to do a relatively large garden. So we have 5 packs of seeds and we got a 36 slot starter tray. So hopefully we can get those started and we don't have brown thumbs. Hopefully we have the green thumbs and we can, make this garden happen this year. And then after that, we went and got more cables for like internet cables. So I can't even remember what those are called. Like, they're the little things that are not phone lines, but sort of look like phone lines. Anyway, so yeah, we went and got some of those because our new internet configuration that the ISP told us we had to do to make our internet work better left us with kind of an awkward positioning. Yes, Ethernet cables. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. With RJ45 plugs. Is that what those are called? I do know that they're called Ethernet cables. I just couldn't think of the name. It was like on the tip of my tongue. But yeah, so we bought longer Ethernet cables so that the router, or I guess the Wi-Fi box, the router, not the box, doesn't have to sit in the middle of the floor anymore. So we just need to plug the cables all together and work that out. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that works. And I'm hoping that it also means that we can have some more stable streams in the near future. So now that the ad is over, I am going to turn on the forge. All right. We are going to be using the mailbox today for the most part. We may end up using the big forge eventually, but for the moment, we're going to start with the mailbox. There's a little bit of contamination in there from the oil because I ended up hardening the scissor blades twice. So there's a little bit of like crispy oil in the forge. So hopefully it's, it's not too bad. All right, so let's put the steel in the forge. So yeah, that's what we did on Saturday. Pretty busy with adulting. And, oh, you know what? I don't have any of my safety equipment on. I should probably start putting that on, huh? So yeah, that's not even getting started with Sunday. I mean, I have quite the story to tell you guys from Sunday. But before I do that, I'm going to go over a little bit of what we're going to be doing today once again. So like I said, we are going to be starting with some blanks. They are about 6 inches long, a 5/8 inch stock, square stock. And here is my second one. So that's about what size this guy is. We're only going to be doing one today, I think, because I think it's going to take us a little bit of time to get going, because this is the first time I've used this pattern. So how we're going to go about this is many months ago, Jack came on and asked me about, or told me about this YouTube channel called Let's Go Blacksmith and Adventures. Or maybe it's Let's Go Adventures and Blacksmith. I'm not sure. I think it's Let's Go Blacksmith and Adventures. Anyway, he's a great guy, but he has this system where he takes these like blocks of steel, and then he puts two cuts, one in either end, and he calls them the basic shapes, right? So there's like the Friedrich's cross kind of shape that we used for our T. Oh, we're missing our I in Smithy, but and so then there's also where you cut the same direction and kind of make an H shape. So that's the shape that we're going to be doing today. We're going to be putting in two cuts along the side here, and that's going to separate the head from the feet and the tail from the back feet. So that's kind of what we're going to do. I'm going to put my own little spin. We're going to be doing some very specific upsetting, and hopefully I can shape it the way it feels like I should be able to in my head. So this could be a disaster, but it could also work beautifully, and we could create a nice, animal shape that is also capable of opening a bottle of beer. All right. So because, like I said, we are going to be doing a lot of very isolated upsetting, I have actually filled the quench bucket for the first time in like a month, 2 months, something like that. And so I've got a jar. It's an old peanut butter jar, and I use this for cooling down things when I'm grinding them. So we're going to fill this up with water, and we're going to use it to cool down specific sections of our steel so that we can upset where we want to. All right. That looks good. So I'm going to stick this. We're also going to be using our angle grinder to create that shape. But the first thing that we're going to do is do a little bit of upsetting in the center of the bar. I've got like a little bit of water over there, and now I've got my, my water for drinking. So I got to be real careful that I pick up the right thing to drink. Let me check my stability here real fast. Looks like we've dropped a few frames, but not too many so far. Fingers crossed, that we, and, knock on wood, we remain relatively stable. Alrighty. So yeah, I want to take that bar, and I guess I'll just talk about it a little bit with with another bar. So I want to upset about the center third of the bar, and that's where I want to put in the belly. So I want a little bit of extra material so that I can kind of widen out the lizard's belly a little bit. So it's going to flatten out kind of like a leaf, but I want to give enough thickness so that, it's got some girth and some substance to it. We're going to do that before we put in those basic two cuts. So that's the plan. That's the plan. And I'll probably change tongs very frequently today. Because we're going to be moving around this bar a lot and kind of trying to work smartly with it. Going to be using the post vise and the anvil face and maybe some tools here and there. I've got an extra Bic the horn of the anvil sometimes is also called a bick. So I have a cone mandrel that sits in my hardy, and it's got 2 hardies, so I can use it standing up, or I can use it at a right angle from the horn of the anvil. Or I could, point it the opposite direction if I needed to. It's a pretty nifty tool. So yeah, hopefully we make something relatively nice today. But you know what? I could definitely screw something up quite a bit as well. So I've been planning on doing a bottle opener for like a couple of weeks as the next project. And I have also been thinking about kind of creating like some animal sculptures. And honestly, I'm not going to lie. John Brunel was making a dragon head on stream last night on YouTube. And I had an idea of doing this before that, but that kind of was another kick in the pants for inspiration for this project. So I've got, 3 other blacksmiths to thank for this project. If it actually functions the way I want it to, or, maybe not, I still can thank them, right? So we've got Jack, John, and I'm not sure the blacksmith's name from Let's Go Blacksmithing and Adventures. But yes, those 3 blacksmiths. All right, we definitely got some heat. So I think I want to take the water and we'll stick it over here. Put that there. And let me turn on the other camera so you guys can kind of see what I'm up to. Hopefully it works out for us. Let's start. Move that over there. I believe that's going to look all right. If I can get it out of the forge, right? So like I said, we're kind of trying to cool off the edge there. And kind of try and upset this a bit. Like I said, we want to make sure that it's centralized, so we're going to fix these curves a little bit. And we've gotten not too terribly much. I think I need another set of tongs so that I can transfer this a little bit easier without putting it on the top of the anvil. So like I said, this is kind of my first attempt at this project, so it's going to take me a few heats to kind of get a little bit more efficient at what we're doing. Hey, John! I did stream a dragon head last night, but I messed it up and threw it in the scrap pile. Ooh, hopefully I don't end up doing the same thing, but you know what? Every piece in the scrap bin is a learning experience. So even if we do end up putting it in the scrap bin, we'll try again on Wednesday, and maybe it'll go a little better, or maybe it won't. I don't know. Hey, Dr. Optimal. We are smacking metal today. So, like I said, I think I need another set of tongs, so we'll probably just grab these tongs, so then we'll have 2 sets. We're going to use this to pull it out of the forge. Then we're going to dunk it in the water. Then we're going to transfer it to the other set of tongs. Stick these over here. And then we will start our upset again, I think. Did you finish the shears? I was a bit late getting here today. It's not a scrap bin. It's the island of misfit metal makings. Exactly. It's the island of misfit metal objects. You know, I bet you one day when it gets big enough, you'll be able to put those together into another project. That's something that I would do. Okay. So, these are the scissors that we made. Whoops, I'm tearing it. I'm not supposed to be tearing it, I'm supposed to be cutting it. See? Check that out, guys. They're a little bit dull still. I have to do one more pass to kind of, yeah, they're not wanting to cut again. I need to do another pass to sharpen them up a bit further. Man, they're definitely not wanting to go this time. Something like that. They need to be sharpened again. I ended up tempering them, or hardening and tempering them, and then also like cleaning them up a bit yesterday. But by the time I got all of that stuff finished and I put them back together, to kind of test the fit, I had no breath left, so I just wasn't able to finish sharpening them. So later on, I will definitely be sharpening them further so that I can actually, hand them over to the butler and the butler can use them to open things. So fingers crossed that they work better once I sharpen them. Most of the cuts that they've been doing, though, look like if you've ever had an old pair of shears that are just not sharp anymore, they kind of have a little bit of a rip in the cut. So it's not like a straight sharp cut. And that's exactly what they feel like. So did you end up using the bench grinder? I did use the bench grinder. I did a little bit of that on, was it Wednesday or was it Friday too? I think definitely Friday. And then I also used the bench grinder on, yesterday when I was cleaning them up. I would call that area the sacrifice to the forging gods, right? That's awesome. It's a good name for it. Like I said, I'll bet you anything that you could come up with something to kind of weld them together or, make some other conglomerate sculpture with it, That could be a really cool, window grate or fence or something for your own shop, like a little bit of a door or something. I don't know. It could be cool, having all of your own rejects just in a big conglomerate thing. All right, let's do another heat. Like I said, it's going to take me a couple tries to kind of get this a little bit more efficient and make this work. So let's see if I can tighten up my efficiency again, or this time to kind of, get a little bit more work done. Well, those could just sit there, I guess. All right, we got a little bit more of that curve that's happening, so we're going to fix that up a little bit. But I think we actually got a little bit more done, so that's good. What I'm really trying to do is fatten up this middle section a little bit. We're going to turn this into what I hope to be is a lizard. And I want him to have a nice wide fat body, so I want to add a little bit more material there. The water is about to jump, I think. It looks like it. I'm going to change this water too because it's starting to warm up a little bit. So we're just going to put the water in the big bin and then we'll stick that over there. All right. So boy, do I have a story for you guys from this weekend. So I kind of gave it a little bit of an overview of all the adulting that we did on Saturday. Well, on Sunday, I spent most of the actual day working on the scissors. Like I said, I was a little bit tired by the end of the day. So when we were getting ready to go to bed, I went and I went to the bathroom and the toilet decided it was going to back up. And it wasn't like a messier backup or anything like that, but I needed to plunge it anyway. Right? So when I went to go get the plunger, because it just wasn't in the bathroom because I was using it for something else. Anyway, as I was passing the laundry room, apparently the butler had spilled the laundry detergent all over the floor and was asking for help. So I went to go and open the door to see what was going on because I didn't understand the butler through the door. So I opened the door and swoosh, orange streak. It was my kitty, my tungsten cat, and he ran right into the laundry room with the laundry detergent all over the floor. He tried to skid to a stop, but he ended up slipping on his butt and hit the wall. He was okay, but he got covered in laundry detergent. So not only did I have to plunge the toilet, we also had to clean up the laundry detergent off of the floor of the laundry room and to give the cat a bath right before bed. So it was a catastrophe. It was a catastrophe. Sounds like a cartoon episode. I mean, it looked like a cartoon episode. I just opened the door and see the cat like bolting in. I still didn't know what was going on until the butler told me about the laundry detergent. But yeah, my cat is like having, a small child or a cartoon character living in my house. It was pretty funny. How you doing? Being dumb. This is a brand new tank of propane, so I have no idea what's going on with it. That is a great story and would have made a great video. If only I had had my cameras rolling, All right, let's do another heat. All righty. And I swear it's not a big fish story, It does kind of sound like it could be a big fish story, but it's not. Ouch. Somehow I just knew that was going to happen, All right, let's get some more heat just so that we can get a little bit more movement. I'm not seeing terribly much in the way of upsetting, more in the way of bending, but that's all right. Sometimes it takes us a little bit of time. That's going to be a bruise. Now we need a react meme. So every once in a while, like my hammer goes a little bit awkward and I'll hit the corner of the face of the anvil with the butt end of my hammer. Well, this time, instead of hitting the butt end of the anvil, I hit my thumb. I'm not entirely sure how I was able to do that, but it happened. So it looks like it's gonna bruise, but I think it'll be all right. We might end up with one of those nails that has like the pretty purple patch in it. I don't know. Depends on how much of my nail is below my cuticle right now. I have had so many purple nails on, you know, my feet and my hands, thumbs particularly. No, the piece didn't bite me today. Not today. In the past, yes, but not today. The hammer did. So yeah, I'll be all right. So I told you guys kind of a little bit about my weekend. How about you guys? What did you guys do this weekend? I think I saw Corwin went to some big wrestling meet match for professional wrestling. So not like, you know, Olympic style wrestling, but like Hulk Hogan style wrestling. That sounds like fun. I used to be a big wrestling fan when I was a kid because my dad loved WCW. I don't think WCW even exists anymore because, like, I think it got copyright with, like, the world. No, that was WWF because that was World Wildlife Federation. But I still don't know that WCW exists. Raslin. I'm not sure oh, wrestling. Yes. Wrestling. But I don't think Corwin's here to tell us about that. So I don't know. What do you guys do? Did any of you guys start a garden? I know usually that Yankee starts gardening around this time. He gardened all year or all summer last year, and it was really cool to watch. So we've got an ad starting in about 2.5 minutes. I think I'm going to change the camera angle, and then we're going to see if we can't beat the ad. I think we're going to put the camera this way unless we're going to trip over the extension cable. That works too. We could do that. All right. Just for some variety. Or I could get caught. I could get caught. Okay. We're good to go. It's too old for that here. It's still freezing. Is it? Or cold? It's still too cold for that. Okay. You know what? That might actually be a better place. I don't know. Maybe. We'll go there. We got a little bit going there. There's a little bit of extra meat happening. Couple more attempts and we should be getting somewhere. We are still getting a little bit of bending, but that's all right. We'll address that after a little while. All right, more heat. I really dislike this keyboard. Wow. It was 73 Fahrenheit on Saturday, 33 on Sunday. Really bipolar weather this weekend. That does sound really awful. Yeah, it was like in the 80s on Saturday, and it was in the 90s yesterday here, right outside of St. Louis. So we tend to get relatively warm days quite often in the springtime, but it was a record on Sunday. The record was previously from 1902, I think, was 86 degrees, and we hit 90. WCW got out or bought out by WWE. Is that what I see? Yeah, okay. Back in 2001. Crazy. I did start mowing brush around that was frozen beneath snow all winter through this weekend. Makes sense. Cleaning up the yard, getting it ready for spring and the mowing season. So we are in the middle of an ad break, and once that ad break is up, we'll keep on keeping on. I think I'm probably going to do a couple more heats where we're trying to upset things. But for our next heat, I think we might actually want to fix some of the flaring that's happening on the ends from this. We're getting flaring from attempting to upset this. We want to make sure that the upset comes into the middle and not the ends, is what I'm trying to say. Let's pick up our tongs. Oh no, I'm losing some frames again. At least on my own playback. Hopefully you guys aren't seeing the frame loss. I'm gonna move that there for now, maybe. Maybe. All right, and we are back. So I think for this next heat, we are going to address the flaring that is happening on the ends of this bar. Once that's done, we'll do a couple more heats trying to upset this material, and then we will do our cuts. We had a bad ice storm, and then it just froze and snowed, so we didn't get most of it moved. Ooh, or mowed. That's never fun. Never fun at all. Okay. Let's put that there. Hey, it'd be nice if I could get the steel out of the forge. I don't want to mess with it too much because I want the full amount of material when I'm cutting it, but I definitely don't need it to flare out, so we're fixing that right now. Back in the heat, and like I said, we are going to do a little bit more upsetting. Jeez Louise, all this dropping. But that's all right. It's good fodder for April Fool or an April Fool's video, right? Here, let me reset drop real fast. That way you guys can drop. Oh, okay. We'll just keep on keeping on then. With the drop counter, since I keep forgetting to reset it. So many drops. As long as it's tool drops and not frame drops. Or stream drops, for that matter. I cannot drink this water. Guys, I can't drink that water. There's a whole bunch of rust in the bottom of that. But I also don't want it to fall off of the anvil because that would be a huge mess. Evening Sandwich, welcome to the stream. Welcome, welcome. We are currently attempting to do some really isolated upsetting because we're going to make, I'm trying to make a lizard sculpture, and I want the lizard to open bottles. Good against iron deficiency, exactly. Ray, yes. Remember, don't drink from the quench bucket, right? Don't drink from the quench bucket. Just like the painters, you got to make sure that the painters don't drink from their brush rinse, right? That would not be cool. Ray! Correct. Yep. I gotta be careful though, because I am liable to forget and actually drink that, or at least put it up to my mouth. By the time I get it, in my hand, I'll probably remember, because the bottom of this can is kind of ugly looking. It's very rusty. So I will probably not actually drink from it, but I might pick it up as though I would drink from it. All right, let's do another heat. Let's see if we can't upset this a little bit more. Can I upset it? Make some more jokes, more puns, and fun stories. And we are starting to get a little bit more girth. Not bad. More heat though. Super exciting, guys. Super exciting. Hello, Grungen. Welcome to the stream. New special flavor, workshop style, naturally cloudy, crunch, extra iron. I mean, one thing about being a blacksmith and ending up with so much, steel everywhere is I will never be anemic, right? Theoretically. I really think that that has nothing to do with the amount of literal iron that I consume, because I don't know that big of iron could be digestible, but it's the thought, right? It took me years of working around tobacco chewers to realize why they use Mountain Dew bottles to spit in. Oh my goodness, so gross. Man, I used to work at this company was called Incredible Events, and basically what they do is they take inflatable bounce houses and like games and stuff around the country. And for a whole summer I worked with these guys, and we drove everywhere because we had to haul all of the inflatables, and those things they're really heavy. They're not light at all. So needless to say, they all chewed, and they used to spit in clear water bottles. It was so disgusting. I cannot, ugh, so gross. I've never seen a female blacksmith except in WoW. It's very cool. There's a few of us around. I mean, as you probably can imagine, there are far more male blacksmiths, but there are plenty of us. There's actually a couple of content creators that are blacksmiths. If you look up Anvil Anna, she is a pretty good blacksmith. She's been doing some amazing work with horseshoes and files. She's been working with some Damascus recently. She's got some really good stuff. She made a pair of scissors, and so I had to make a pair of scissors too. So, you know. That was our last project that we just finished up on Friday. So today we're making bottle openers that are we're hopefully making bottle openers shaped like animals. There are some unfortunate people who have drank from those bottles too. Yes, I've seen that. That's awful. Ugh. Can she make me some legendary weapons? I don't know. I think she started as a farrier, so, you know, maybe some legendary weapons for a horse. This is my, you know, start at a legendary weapon, although this is not, you know, it's not a big, large, you know, MMO sword, but this is actually a, it is a rapier blade. Not says there's actually quite a few female blacksmiths. There are so many ladies out there who blacksmith. I am not the only one. So, and it's always lovely to meet a new female blacksmith. Or actually, you know what? It's just lovely meeting another blacksmith, I won't lie. You are very cool. I'm glad I found you. Cool. Well, thank you. I hope that you have fun. We try to make it fun here. There's been several on Fortune Fire. There have been several on Fortune Fire. We're out there, just maybe not quite as common. Let's do another heat while we're here. Like I said, we are continuing our upsetting in an attempt to get a nice fat belly on this lizard. Oh, this is definitely not the set of tongs I was supposed to be using for that. Okay. Pick this up like so. Quench the end. Quench the other end. Whoops! Drop the whole thing in the quench bucket. Whoopsie. Maybe we don't have a quench bucket anymore. Oh, this is an exceptional drop, guys. How do I get it out of here? There it goes. Back in the fire you go. Is it still holding water? It is. I'm a little bit shocked. Let's get different water. Is it holding it? Or is there a hole in the bottom? Seems like we're all right. Oopsie. You know what? That was a really klutzy thing to do. I don't know if you guys saw that in the little corner. I will have to make a short of that, you know. So I will post a clip of that over on YouTube next week sometime. And I will use the camera's actual footage because I record everything that I'm doing. So it's a little bit higher definition and a little bit bigger. But that is definitely worth a short. Yep, I saw it. Well, good. I'm glad you guys saw it because it was rather humorous. That was unfortunate. So it's going to take me a little bit to get the piece back up to heat since I completely cooled it down to the point where, you know, it was black. So we're going to have to heat it all the way back up. Gungren, thank you for that follow. Welcome to the stream and welcome to the community. I know we've been talking a little bit, but I just noticed your follow, so I want to thank you for that. All right, let's change the camera angle just for some variety while we are waiting on our piece to heat back up. All right, maybe we turn it this direction. And like so. That should work pretty well. If I can get it in focus, that is. There we go. Okay, cool. Hey, Jack, welcome to the stream. You look like a drunk, clumsy dwarf blacksmith from a video game. Well, I drew drop stuff a lot. That's why we have the drop counter. I think I've only dropped things like 3 or 4 times today so far, but I think the counter's up to like 7, 8, 9, something in that, because we are counting from Friday's stream as well. But yeah, welcome in, Jack. So today, you're actually part of the reason we're doing the project that we are. I don't know if you would remember that you sent me to Let's Go Blacksmith and Adventures over on YouTube, and he has the I think it's like 7 basic shapes that he makes things from. So we are going to be making a lizard from one of his basic shapes. And I'm trying to give my lizard a little bit fatter of a belly, so we're doing a little bit of upsetting. Yep, yes. So yeah, the goal is to create I don't remember what number shape it is, but I think it's shape 2, where the 2 cuts on both ends are the same direction, so they're like horizontal cuts, like an H. Yes, he does some lovely videos. So we're going to turn that hopefully into a lizard. But like I said, we're doing a little bit of upsetting so that we can give the lizard a little bit fatter of a belly. And the goal is to make a bottle opener out of the tail. So it's like a nice little lizard figurine that has a bottle opening tail. I almost picked up the quench bucket to drink it. It's nice to know you enjoyed them. Thanks for sharing. Yes. Yes, I liked them a lot. So definitely check them out if you get a chance. I feel overbearingly helpful sometimes. You know what? Especially in the beginning of my streaming and blacksmithing journey last year, I desperately needed as much help as I could. So, you know, and I love getting advice from all of you, you know. You give some good advice, you know. Some of it's like less than good, but you know what? Not everything can be winners. And I make mistakes too. So, you know. We are patiently waiting for the split take. Oh, the spit take. Yes. I mean, I'll make that into a short too if it happens. Like I said, I doubt it will happen because I think I'll pick it up, I'll look at it, and then I'll be like, ew, and put it back down. I think that's as far as it'll get. However, you know, you never know, right? Maybe I'm looking at the camera or at the laptop or, you know, the computer setup, and you know, you never know. All right. I'm going to turn this guy around. We've almost got it back up to heat after I dropped it in the quench bucket. And then we'll start again. Okay. Cool, cool. I keep these laying around here because they're nice and tiny and I can fit it inside of the hole in the front of the mailbox. Because I can't always fit these guys in there to pick out the metal. Will there be a betting pool on whether Ray drinks from the quench jar? I don't know. That's up to you guys. I have no involvement in that. I think that if Mahalo is here, I think Mahalo has the ability to create predictions or something like that. That might be a fun thing. But I'm not entirely sure how that works, so it would take me way too long to figure that one out. I think I would rather, continue working on the stuff and continue risking doing the very thing that you guys are predicting. All right, let's do another heat. Let's see, where is the best place to put the inset? Probably not. Probably there, actually. Jack suggested a pull. That would be pulls. Okay. Let's see if I can do this. All right, over to the quench. Grab a hold of this. See if I can't. Okay, there's that. Now we've got two lovely black ends. Now I was trying to get rid of that curve by doing both ends, but you know what? Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So let's flatten that out just a little bit. All right, so I'm going to show you guys this guy, and then I'm going to put it right next to the other blank that I have. So we have lost. So if I put that one up like so, and I put that one up like so, we've lost about an inch and gained it in girth. So that's awesome. That's great. So we're going to do about one more heat of upsetting, and then we're going to put our slices in here. We want to put slices in there to denote where we're going to put our arms, legs, and tail. We have confidence in you either way. My prediction, she will either drink or not drink from the slack bottle. It could be a prediction or a poll. Depends if you want to be a prize pool or just a vote. I don't know. Dealer's choice. Can you set that up for me, Mahalo? If not, I'll make sure it happens. If you're busy, don't worry about it. I don't know. If you just saw me turn, it's gonna happen, guys. It's gonna happen. Let's put that there. Then maybe that's gonna be a deterrent. Or maybe it's just gonna be inconvenient. Because I think that's probably where we're gonna be. I think it's just gonna be inconvenient. Goodness gracious. I think I actually need this one over here too. let's see. Like I said, we're going to do one more upset heat, and then from there we are going to cut open the 2 slits. So I always say, when I was in kindergarten, my teachers always talked to us about folding. You know, when they wanted us to fold the papers, they would tell us either to fold them hamburger style or hot dog style, right? So the hamburger style is folding it like so, and hot dog style was folding it like so, right? So hot dog style makes a hot dog bun. Hot hamburger style, you know, it's the regular way that you would fold things, right? So we are going to be cutting this material hot dog style, so vertically. We're not going to go all the way through. We're going to do a cut on the top and a cut on the bottom, and leave the body in that center area. Depends on how hot it gets and how thirsty it makes you. See, it's not the heat that makes me thirsty most of the time, right? Most of the time, my talking is what makes me thirsty. I drink because it allows me to talk to you guys as long as I do. You know, I guess it's 2.5 hours where I 2.5 hours where I'm constantly talking to you guys, and you know, it makes me thirsty. Mahalo's got the poll out. Will Ray drink from the quench jar? What do you guys think? Let me know. It's like me, Lorelei Rock in the Rhine calling to you. It is. It's like a siren or something. I wanna drink it. Except I don't, because it's icky. So we have an ad starting in about 3.5 minutes. And yeah. Breaking news. We drive Ray to drinking. Yes. Except not drinking alcohol, drinking water, right? All right, let's try and get one more heat in before that ad starts. And we shall also see if I knock over my water or anything crazy like that. Will I drop stuff? Probably. This, I don't know. This specifically. All right. Now we've got both of those there. Woo, it looks like an inchworm now. I mean, we're definitely getting an animal out of this. It may not be a lizard, though. It might just be an inchworm, guys. All right. I'm actually pretty happy with that. We've got most of the curve out of that. So the next thing that we're going to do one heat where I continue to straighten this guy out just a hair. We do have a little bit of a bend in it. And I will show you guys the difference between the original and the upset. So the next thing, like I said, that we are going to do is heat this guy up. Ooh, I did get it. Anywho, I've been in and out with the safety meeting and such, didn't catch what you're making. I'm attempting to make a lizard. I don't know how well it's gonna work, but I've stolen the idea from Let's Go Blacksmithing and Adventures on YouTube. He's got like 7 different basic shapes that he does. He has a video on each one. And so I think we're going to be using shape 2, but I'm not entirely sure which exact shape number it is. So basically, we're doing a Friedrich's cross, but instead of doing opposite cuts, we're doing the same cut. We're going to be separating a head from front feet and a tail from back feet. It's an amphibian. I saw it swimming already. It was swimming already. So the goal is actually to create all of their like animals, one animal each day this week. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I want to make a different animal each day. And each of those animals I would like to turn into a bottle opener. And the bottle opener motivation is because I have joined a blacksmithing challenge group over on Instagram, and every month they have a new challenge, and this month's challenge is to create a bottle opener and either a leaf or a flower. So we've made leaves this month already, so now I need to make my bottle opener. Alrighty. So we have our ad break going. Oh God, not that group. Yes, that group. That group. I don't know any of them in person, and I don't know if I've met them or not. Attempted but no. Is that the answer? I'll have to take a look at the poll to see what the answers were. Yes, no, or attempted but no. Is that what that was? Well, I'm glad you guys have confidence in me that I won't drink from it. Oh, goodness. All right. So once this ad is done, we will pull the steel out of the fire, straighten it out a bit, and then we are going to cut the slits in both sides. Will you make a loop at the end of the tail to act as the bottle opener? I'm gonna make something. The goal is to make something to use as a bottle opener, but bottle openers don't actually have to be round. They can actually be like just a shepherd's hook style, so it's just like a little bit of a question mark. As long as there's a flat that you are able to hook underneath of the cap and something that you can kind of get leverage with. So I'm not entirely sure it's going to specifically be a circle, but it'll definitely be something that, you know, will create that pivot point. Teeth would be cooler. It would be, but I don't know that I have enough material to make the teeth for this particular project. Now, on Wednesday or Friday, I will probably attempt a mouth open at some point within this week. I'm just not sure exactly what animal it's going to be that makes it that way. Maybe like a bunny or something. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Like I said, we're going to be doing this a couple days, well, all week really. And so hopefully we can make a different animal every day. All right. I grabbed the wrong tongs again. See, that's most likely, I'll grab the other tongs. Or, also I have a very good chance of dropping my water. Okay. Okay. So we've got a nice bar there. So we're going to put a slit in either side. We're going to leave probably that center edge for the body. All right. So I am going to hope my forge doesn't decide that it's going to turn itself off. All right. So let's go here. straighten that out. Move these guys for the moment. Dump that because it's starting to get warm. We will refill that in a bit. I made a bottle opener a couple weeks ago on live stream. I got 3/4 of the way through, and Keith and Lexi were like, "You should enter it." And then told me after it had to have a leaf or a flower. It doesn't have to have that on it. It just, you can make them two or both separately, but there has to be a leaf or a flower also in addition. Okay. You know what? It's over there. It's behind the camera, guys. It's behind the camera. I'm looking for my multi-tool. I dropped a couple of pics in the Discord. I think I saw those pictures. They were gorgeous. It looks huge, though. I won't lie. I would be afraid of dropping it because, you know, I drop everything. Alrighty. Flat disc away. And cutting disc on. And you know what? I'm going to be daring, and I'm going to do a thing. I'm going to do, you know what? Never mind. Hang on. Brains. Sometimes the brains, they don't always function all the way. What is going on with my forge today? It seems to be skipping a little bit. Oh, you know what? My phone is ringing too. 20 bucks says it's potential spam. And you know what? It is. I was right. That's all I ever get these days is spam. Nobody ever calls me. Okay. So let's do that. And then we're going to put that there. So you guys can also kind of still see me. And I'm going to come over here. A little bit longer. There we go. Now we're going to flip it. Are you being dumb? There we go. All right. Yeah, it's a bit sparky. There we go. We're going to leave it at that. Because we're going to end up about breaking the blade a little bit if I'm not careful. So we have an H shape. We're going to open that up. And fingers crossed we can make it function the way we want to. All right. Inside there. Yeah, the blade's a little bit torn up, so not thrilling, but that's all right. We are going to need to use another bit of that in a little bit. And I have another bit, so we'll use that. All right, so we're getting more water because we're going to be moving material and kind of doing a little bit of upsetting. Special upsetting. All right, so I need those tongs and these tongs, but probably not yet. So we'll put those over there. All right. Gritty. I should have used my dust mask. So, you know, do as I say, not as I do. Wear a dust mask when you're using a grinder or a cutoff wheel. I think you need a smaller grinder. That thing looks scary. I keep picturing it picturing my head on that disc snapping off and a face shield. I won't lie. I have totally shredded a disc before and it has hit me in the face. But that's why I use safety glasses, right? Got to keep my eyes nice and protected. And the disc, like I said, it has shredded on me. I also have a, what is that? It is a chop saw over there, and those discs have shredded on me. It's a risk of the job. So, I mean, it's not the most pleasant thing in the world, but it does happen. Best practice is actually to, when you start seeing them shred a little bit, when they start kicking back like it was doing, what best practice is to actually change the disc at that point in order to prevent it from causing you issues. However, I didn't really want to have to do that this time. I know, it should be safety first, but sometimes in order to get things done in a timely fashion, it's safety third. Admittedly, eyes are most vulnerable and important, but then again, a nose or cheek can also be useful at times. Exactly. You know, and lips, you know. I went to grab my water, and you know what is not there? My water. Nose and cheeks can be reconstructed. Eyes cannot. Exactly. Only got one set of eyes. They have started, like, doing, like, what is it? Lens donations. But they have only barely started doing that. So I'd like to keep my eyes intact. I had a wire brush once catch my shirt and just lightly scrape my belly. Scared the heck out of me. That happened to me yesterday. I was running a wire wheel on the scissors, and one of the wires came out and hit me right here. And I picked it out, and I just kept going. It actually hit underneath of my apron. Not pleasant, but it happens. Even there, original replacement parts are really hard to come by. They are. I mean, a little battle scar here and there makes one look a bit cooler, more battle hardened. Lens stone issues. Replacing lenses by artificial ones is pretty common meanwhile. Yeah. I had a friend who passed away, and they actually were able to take parts of his eyes for a donor. I mean, other things too, but eyes also. So, which one is it? It's got to be this one. I actually have a scar on this thumb from a pneumatic wood carving tool. So you got to be really careful when you're doing hand, like, making stuff and using tools and stuff. When that thing catches your shirt, it's a massive sigh of relief to find your inside still intact. Well, I mean, it's only like a little thing like that, and I mean, it's like skinny as all get out. It's like not that much wider than a toothbrush bristle. So it doesn't, it hurts, yes. It's a scratch. And, if it hits at the right angle, you can bleed, but it's not life-threatening on its own. Oh, the whole wheel. Yeah, that would be very dangerous. I would. That's why you have to you never wear loose clothing or gloves when you're using a bench grinder. Never use gloves or loose clothing, because if it gets caught in, it'll take the whole thing off of you or you along with it. So that's a big no. I would never do that. Now I make sure my shirts are tucked in. Yeah. Oh, that'd be scary. All right. So I think I'm going to grab a chisel, and we are going to open up those two slits that I just made. So that's what we're going to do next. I think I might actually want the other tongs now that I'm thinking about it. Not these guys, the other ones. Pull that out like so. And we'll drop those. But that's all right. I don't mind. Let's do it this way. This will work pretty well. Okay. We've got it open a little bit already. You can kind of see that right there. Now, we're going to try and pick it up if we can. And toss it over here on the edge. And widen that opening up. So now we've got a nice open area like so. So now I want to do the opposite side. So we'll just open both sides up a little bit. This may be a mistake. I haven't figured that out yet. Eventually I will. Good way to tan when you're welding. Oh man. Be careful about that. There's a reason that we use welding jackets for welding. I'll even show you mine. This one is my welding jacket. It's, it's long sleeves and leather. And then we have one that is the butler size. So mine and the butler. Got to be careful though, because if you get a sunburn from welding, it's really easy to get skin cancer from that. Especially if you do it more than once. Probably the cornea was donated then. To my knowledge, there's a thing. Lenses are just being replaced by something artificial. I think I heard something about that, where they are using 3D printing to print lenses. I could be wrong by that. Indeed, when I was a kid, I would go into the garage and stick weld galvanized nails with Dad's welder, forging to look cool, looking at the cool smoke. Now I'm in full gear every time. Yeah, never weld galvanized metal. Never put galvanized metal in your forge. The galvanization is zinc based. Zinc burns and it creates a noxious, awful gas. You can get real sick. Chrome is even worse than that, though. Chrome is super not good. Super bad. All right. But yeah, when you're a kid, it's a lot easier to get feel confident enough to do stupid things like that. Let's see if I can't get this out of the forge. Haha. There we go. We're going to move this like so. Put it down. And we're going to open this side. Like I said, this could be a mistake. I might be better off leaving it closed and working with the one side before I work with the other, but you never know. You don't know until you try. All right, so now we have 2 partial opens. And I'm going to attempt to hold it like so on the corner. Now we kind of have like a little bit of an X going on. All right. So we're going to heat this back up and then we're going to start working on making some like legs and stuff. That is the basic shape that we are starting with. Heavy metal poisoning is bad, okay? Super bad. Super bad, guys. All right, so we have the basic shape. We've got like an X almost. So one of those little tabbies is going to turn into the head. One is going to turn into the front feet. One is going to turn into the tail, and one is going to turn into the back feet. You have an X going on. What does the butler think about this? Well, I mean, I only have a few X's. The butler also has a few X's, so, it is what it is. The X I was talking about, he has passed away, so, is no longer in the picture. We had been broken up long before that happened, though, so, All right, we're out of water. The butler does what he's told. Yes, something like that. All right, so I'm out of water. I need to grab some juice because I'm out of Gatorade too. So we're gonna be drinking juice instead of Gatorade this time. Let me go grab that real fast. Give me half a second. Apologies. Oh, I don't have any. Wait, do I not have any juice anymore either? Goodness gracious. Well, I guess what we get is soda today. This is really bad for you. This is really bad for you. I'm confused. The butler. Yes, my partner is the butler. Sometimes the butler is here with me, assisting me, but most frequently the butler is at work and I do this on my own. So right now the butler is at work. There's some right behind me. What's some right behind me? Juice? Water? There's an empty juice right here. I had some Welch's juice that I was drinking for yesterday. I think I drank the last one. We did not go and restock the non soda beverages. But there is some, water that I could just drink this. But, that's what you guys want to see. That's what you guys bet. All right. I'm going to do another heat with that camera angle. And then from there, I think what I want to do next is change the camera angle. Just for some variety. Okay. Do. All right, so I've got kind of a weird looking thing going on here. So I think I need one side all the way flat and the other side all the way bent. So I'm not entirely sure how we're going to end up doing this. So I think I don't actually need it that way. Sorry, I'm having to think about this. I'm having to think. All right, so that's what we have right now. So this could just be the tail, and that could be the head, and then these two could be the legs. Does that sound about right? I think that does, actually. So I didn't get any progress going, but I think that's what we're gonna do. So I need to bend this side down, and I need to bend this side further down. Maybe this side up. I don't know. We shall see. Or maybe we need to bend it cut it more. I don't know. Apologies for not accomplishing anything that heat, but I had to have a think. Okay, so it looks like we have an ad starting in about a minute and a half. So that should get us enough heat. So by the time the ad is over. So like I said, we're going to try and I think the next time what we're going to do is we're going to try and move the legs out of the way. So that they're down, because lizards have backwards knees on like their front legs. I kind of want the lizard to be posed kind of like so, right? Because they have low bellies, they let their bellies drag on the ground, right? So we got the low, elbows out, and then I kind of want the back legs to kind of go towards the center as well. So I think what we need to do is we need to move both of the legs so that they're as close to 90 as possible. And then I might do a little bit of upsetting on those legs, a little bit. I haven't, maybe. I'm thinking. Like I said, this is the first time I've done anything like this. So it's going to take me a little bit of extra time and brain power to kind of think my way through this. So hopefully we'll get something that we can be proud of today and then move on to Wednesday with another animal. We have about an hour left in the stream. We should be able to get plenty of progress. We should be able to. So no Black Widow setting. I guess I missed that one, Sandwich. No, I'm not gonna claim that I'm a Black Widow. But yeah. All right, so we have an ad break going on now. Let's see. I think I can do this. I think I can do this. I think I know how I'm gonna do this too. Yeah. I think I know how I'm gonna do this. Do. Let's see. So once I get the legs down, I will cut the legs apart so that I can have two different legs. You know, because each lizard has 4 legs. 4 legs. Things and stuff. I have ideas on how this is gonna happen. Looking for certain tools that I may or may not have. I may end up using that tool. That might work. That might work. How we doing? We're buffering a little bit, but I think we're all right. Lost a few plane frames. Unless it's a double lizard, which has 8. That's true. There are lizards that have more than 4 legs. But this lizard is only going to have 4 because I say so. All right, I think I know what I'm going to do. I think. Fingers crossed it works the way I think it's going to. But you never know, right? Okay. Let's pull this piece out of the forge. Then we'll put it in the, like so. Now, will that work exactly the way I wanted it to? For that, but that's not working the way I want it to. Okay. So now we have legs on the opposite sides. Okay. And then we get to drop our piece. That works too. That's not going to work there, but maybe it'll work there. But now you guys can't see what I'm doing. I'm going to get more heat. Man, my efficiency today has gone downhill. There goes my basilisk dream, right? Don't basilisks have 6 legs, though? Or is that just the ones in the video games that I play? I'm pretty sure that basilisks have 6 legs, and they're like electric. They have like lightning usually in the video games that I play. Oh, we're starting early today. A lot of them have 6, yeah. See, I thought so, but I wasn't for sure. So, For those of you who haven't been around for as long, I live on a pretty busy street, and there is an overpass over the highway down that direction, and they are repairing the rails on the overpass, and so they have it down to a one-lane road. So there's a light, and so they let one side pass at a time, and every day at rush hour it starts backing up in front of my house. And it's like a mile that way. So it's a pretty long line. But apparently we're backing up early today. People must be getting off of work early. All right. Let's do another heat. But this time I'm going to move the camera because I think I'm going to do it over on the horn of the anvil. Probably. So let's see what we can do. Over here. Low angles are my new favorite angles, guys. My new favorite angles. But I might go up a little higher later. Just to get some variety. Okay. Let's do this. We'll put that there. Okay. If I hold this real nice and tight there, then maybe I can go like so. Yeah. Yeah, man, yeah. That's exactly what I want to see. Okay, so now we've got it started. And I want to do the same on that side. So let's go like so. And we may need more heat. Yeah, we're going to need more heat. Okay. I think I'm going to move that down first. That way we can move each of these like out into that X shape. We're getting to the point where it's going to start getting harder and harder to get this guy in and out of the forge. I put this, yeah, I wanted to do that, didn't I? Brains. Yeah, it's starting to take shape a little bit. So once I get each of the legs and head and tail separated, we are going to be able to start kind of shaping the rest of the piece. So the goal is to kind of separate the legs out. We want to draw those out a little bit. Then we also want to draw out a nice long tail. Flatten out the body a little bit. Give ourselves a little bit of facets on its back. Because most lizards don't have a square body. They kind of have like a rounded body where the widest part of their body is like, they kind of go like this a little bit, right? They got the widest part of the body at the bottom. So like, yeah. And then, we also have to shape the head a little bit. You know what? That is not to drink. Not to drink. Once upon a time, I was a little bit more graceful. But you know what? I am collecting drop footage, right? So that way I can post a video on April Fool's next week of me just dropping everything. Because, you guys like that, right? All right, let's do another heat. That kind of stuff is the funny. Hold this like so. Real nice and tight. Then we're going to hammer that way. Okay. All right, now we have mostly out. That'll work. So this is going to be a leg. That's going to be a leg. This one's going to be the tail, I think, and I think that's going to be the head. I think that's how we're going to do it. So that needs to be done last because that's the tail. So we're going to work on the legs first, I think. If I can get this still in the forge, that is. There it goes. Gravity wins again. You know what? Gravity is one of those forces of nature. It always wins. All right. It always wins. Not my fault. Okay, we're going to go back to the angle grinder and separate these legs. So this guy is pretty frayed, so I'm going to throw him away. I'm going to retire it, and we're going to use a different disc. And I hit the garbage can instead of getting in it, but that's all right. I know it was on the floor, but this is a brand new disc. Do you think you will be doing a lot more sculptural chisel stuff, Ray? I mean, I honestly have no idea. If I find it fun this week, then yes. And then if that's the case, then I will start making more chisels. Because I only have a couple, right? And they're really standard, so I don't have any eyes. I don't have any like crazy, artistic ones. So I would be more than willing to have, to get advice on different sculptural chisels. If you've got any to give. Like I said, I'm not sure. I might start making little sculptural things. I could see it. If you go down that route, you will be making equipment. Let me know. I will. I'll definitely let you know. All right. I need to move the water again. I still think there's a slow leak in this from when I dropped the piece inside of it. Move the camera. We're going to move this up a little bit. All right. Yeah, I will definitely let you know, Jack. I have a bunch of spring steel that Corwin sent me, and then I also have a sucker rod that I can make things out of. That being said, I strongly recommend the Kevlar work gloves from Blacksmith Depot. That's also a thought. That's definitely a thought. All right. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to cut apart the legs. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take the piece, we're going to put it in the post vise, and then I'm going to cut apart the legs. We might actually cut a little bit more of a separation between the tail, the head, and the legs. So we'll see how well that goes. It depends. I don't know why I even have these like heating again either, because, you know, that's not really, you know, necessary for this. But I might actually do a little bit of forging first. I know you're probably not going to be able to see it, and I apologize for that. Oh, come on, get out of there. There it goes. There, that's a lot better. Okay. So let's put this in here. Like so. You know what? I don't have my mask on. Let me do that real fast. Apologies. When doing little figures and stuff, I always wear a left-hand glove. For chisel work, and it gave me the right max of protection while maintaining dexterity that welding good gloves couldn't. That makes sense. I'll read more of that in just a second. All right. Now we have legs separated. Actually, I can't use these. I need to use these. All right, there we go. Okay. Now I have Mel Gibson being drawn and quartered and yelling freedom bouncing around in my skull. I mean, yeah. R-Night 1997, thank you so much for that follow. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the community. I hope you're having fun. I know I am. I always have fun with you guys. The other thing that I desperately need is a better set of tongs, right? These guys are just not cutting it. I want something that's closer to this size, but these are just scroll tongs, so they don't really have a lot of grip with them, at least the flat grip that I feel like I need. So if I start doing this more frequently, I will 100% be making a set of tongs, like a couple different sets of tongs, that will make this a lot easier. I use wolf jaws for everything, and that's not flat. Or everything that's not flat. Everything that's flat, I just be sad, right? I have flat jaws and I have a multitude of bolt tongs, but I don't have any good wolf jaws. And I keep saying that I'm going to do it, and every time I try to make a set of wolf jaw, I end up making a set of flat because I don't know. Because I don't know. Because of reasons, I guess. So yeah, we now have all of the cuts done. So now it is time to kind of shape the arms, legs, and head. So I'm not entirely sure how well this is going to go, but we're going to try it. We're going to see how well it does. I'm going to grab the chisel again, because we'll probably need this guy. I'm going to put the angle grinder away so I have a little bit more space. We'll probably end up using the post vise a little bit. Did you get the scissors to cut paper? Oh, that's fun. I knew I smelled some burning. I'm glad I noticed. There was a paper towel burning over there. It was only smoldering, so it wasn't too bad. So yes, I did get the scissors to cut. Let's see if I can get them to cut again. I gotta make it straight because they're not amazingly they're not the sharpest scissors in the world, if that makes any sense. So they're really starting to try and, okay, there it went. So you can see that right there. So it really wants to fold them. You know, it doesn't really want to cut, but I need to sharpen them more. But they are functional. They are cutting things. We've got all of this lovely fringe to prove that. So I'm super excited about these guys. I'm super happy with how they came out. I just need to spend a little bit more time sharpening them. There's a very nice design by Irish blacksmith Finney and Christie to show how to do wolves very fast. But I don't know if his YouTube still exists. Well, if it does and you see his link, send it over. I would love a set of nice wolf jaw tongs to add to my tong collection. All right. I'm going to move the camera again so it's back on the anvil. And I'm apparently going to knock off my ground wire off of my welder with my cell phone in my pocket. I can do that too. I'm very good at multitasking. Okay, he's back. Let's do some more stuffies. Okay, that and then that. Sounds great. See how well this goes. Let's see how well this goes. I may end up having to use, in fact, I'm pretty sure I should probably use the thingy thing. You know what? we're going to leave those alone for half a second, and we're going to work a little bit on the tail a little, maybe. I don't want to work too far on this tail because if I make it too long, then it won't fit in the forge again, but we've got a nice taper starting on that tail. So the reason I did that is because I need to take this and put it back in the vise to open up those legs, I think. I think that's what I'm going to need to do. Ooh, I have, is that a cold shunt? Where did I put my... I don't know if that's a cold shunt. It doesn't look like one. Maybe it's starting, I don't know. Anyway, let's heat this up again. Yep, we're having a little bit of issues getting it in there. Hey, Kiri, welcome to the stream. Welcome, welcome, Raiders. Hello, I'm Ray. I am a blacksmith. Today we are working on possibly making an animal sculpture that is also a bottle opener. But we will see if I can manage to make it work. But welcome in, Raiders. Welcome, welcome. I'm glad to see you here. It looks like we are about to start an ad break. Thanks, Mahalo, for shouting out Kiri. Definitely check out Kiri. Kiri is a jeweler and a goldsmith, and oftentimes makes some lovely stuff over on Twitch. A Black Widow Smith, we learned today. I don't know about that. I mean, maybe. I mean, you might, you know. I'm not gonna admit it. But I'm also not gonna deny it. All right. I think we're gonna use the post vise to open up those legs to separate them so that we can start shaping them a little bit easier. There, we are now in focus. Okay. So the goal is actually to turn this into a bottle opener. So it's supposed to be a lizard, right? So we have a head, we have a tail, and then we have 4 legs that are nice and separated and cut apart with an angle grinder. So right now I'm trying to move the legs outwards so that we can start working with them. Once that happens, we may end up having to change forges because we're starting to get to the point where I have more splayed material than I can fit in my tiny forge. It is a little bit hotter than my big forge, so it might take a little bit longer in between heats to reheat the piece. But yeah, we're going to do our very best. Especially to finish this before the end of the stream, but I don't know that that's going to happen. I will probably actually push us back and the end of the stream, and maybe we'll work for another hour. I'm starting to feel all right, so I think that it should be fine. I think we should be fine. All right. Let's see. We've got pretty good amounts of heat on that, but I will wait until the ad is over before I start working again. But yeah. Hey, Kiri. What were you working on today if you're still here? What was Kiri working on today? We just finished up a pair of scissors on Friday, so we're starting a brand new project. This is a project, like I said, it's going to be a lizard bottle opener. And I've never made any animal sculptures before. So I figured I would combine the, the animal sculpture with something that I have done before. I have made several bottle openers in the past. In fact, there's one right here that I've made. So that one was pretty cool. It's got a lovely heart on the end of it. Engraving and stone setting exercise. Since I was there, something was before which I missed. Oh, okay. Stone setting and engraving can be a lot of fun. I didn't do a lot of engraving when I was a jeweler, but I did a lot of stone setting. But I had to do it on the down low because my manager was a little bit particular about her gem setting. She didn't want me to screw up. So yeah, the ad break should be done in about 30 seconds, and we will get started working again. Hopefully, we can get both of these legs pulled apart enough that we can start drawing them out a little bit. I think we only have one hot enough to do so, though. All right. Okay. By the time the ad is done, we should be able to work. All right. Can I get both at the same time? I don't know. It does not look like it. I think we're going to have to put this back in the forge to heat up the opposite side. But we've got a nice separation there on that side. So I'm super happy about that. We'll be able to continue working pretty nicely. Let's see if we can get that in there. Or not. I don't know. We could also turn this into like a dog or something that kind of looks like it. Now that I'm thinking about it. Can you get in there? It would be nice. There we go. It's all the way in there. Yay! So yeah, I was never amazingly good at engraving, but stone setting, I got pretty decent at that when I was a jeweler. And yeah, it was pretty fun. Let me see, do I need to turn it? No, it's fine. Okay. Most of the gems that I set were colored stones and they were created colored stones. So if I broke them, then it would be really cheap to replace them. I didn't get to set a lot of diamonds like solitaires and stuff. Up to now, it can be anything with 4 legs, I guess. Yeah. It could. It could be a dog. It could be a cat. It could be a lizard. It could be just about anything. So we shall see if we can make it more lizard-like or if it's, going to be a little bit less lizardy and a little bit more something else. I don't know. But we're starting to turn it into an animal, at least. Well, you have the legs splayed out to the side. That is the goal. But I also have to figure out if I can make it happen, if that makes sense. As I continue working, it's going to make it a little, because of the way that I cut it, it's going to make it really easy to rip and tear the piece. So I have to be really careful to make sure that I keep things really nice and hot so they're moving and I don't move them too much too quickly, if that makes sense. But the goal is to have them splayed out to the side a little bit. And we're going to fake that also a little bit by bringing in the like the hips, right? So right now it's like it's straight between the legs and the edge of like where the hips are. So what I want to do is I kind of want to give it a little bit of a waist. So I'm not sure if we're going to, I want to do like a little bit of isolating on the edge of the anvil. We'll see if that works enough or if I have to use like a fullering die. And I can explain what a fullering die is a little bit later if we get that far. Okay, let's do another attempt. Let's see if I can get this out of the forge easy enough. Okay, we're good to go on that. There we go. Okay. Oh, we're starting to go in instead of out. Okay. Okay, that's about as far as I can go without risking cracking this piece so far. So we've got 4 separated legs. So we have the ability to kind of work with them a little bit. I kind of feel like the back legs are a little bit longer than or the front legs are a little back, or they're longer than the back legs. So I'm not entirely sure how well this is going to do, but we're going to try it. Oops, I went the wrong way. I need to go this way. So now we've got legs and a head and a tail. All right, we're going to have to use the other forge at some point, I think. So I think we're going to try one more heat with that forge. We'll get this last heat, and then we'll probably switch from the mini forge to the bigger forge. That way, it'll be a lot easier to get things in and out, and I won't have to worry about it at all. We're still all right there. If the front legs are longer, it would look like the lizard is raising its head to catch more sun to warm up. I've seen lizards do that. I'm hoping that that's what it looks like, right? If I give it the lizard a waist, I can kind of make it look like it's got its legs folded behind itself. So fingers crossed I can make it look that way. We'll see. We shall see. I've got enough heat. I think I can can flatten out the tail a little bit. And if I flatten out the tail, I should be able to get it inside the forge a little bit longer. So we'll see. We'll see if I can do that. All right. This is a no-fail scenario. If it looks weird, it's a dinosaur we haven't seen before, right? That's part of the reason I decided that it was going to be a lizard, right? All right, I need to turn my camera a little bit because the head of the tripod is not doing so hot. Okay. It's starting to unscrew itself for whatever reason. Okay, we're gonna do that for now. Okie doke. Let's try this. Do, 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 do. If I lower the tail a little bit, then I can kind of move this direction like so. I'd like to move those separately. That way it'll go into the forge a little bit easier, and then we should be able to kind of bring it like so, or drop it. I can drop it too. Along the edge of the anvil to kind of give it some hips. We want to kind of go like so and hammer half on and half off to kind of create like a little separation there. So we'll see. I don't have very good tongs for this process, but we're starting to get there. There we go. It's going in the forge again. Super exciting. Maybe, because like the little forge, it's more efficient and it gets hotter. So if I can keep this guy in the forge, that's a good thing. I have a lot of green anole lizards here. The males have throat fins that they display. Bright red fan under the green body. That would be so... See, part of the reason why I started with a lizard is because I love lizards. I think they're absolutely adorable. And yeah, I love them. I used to have newts as pets. They were like a little red-eared newts. They had like red along their necks and stuff. Here, we actually, in this area, we actually have blue-tailed skinks. So they actually have blue tails. It's like bright blue. And if you pick them up, they will drop their tails. So you have to be careful and not to scare them too much. They can grow their tails back, but then you just have this like little tail at the end. Or it's just they dropped the tail. It's kind of weird. Yeah, we got a curio raid. We've kept a few people. I guess Curie was doing some engraving and some stone setting. So that's also very entertaining and interesting. I really enjoy jewelry. All right. The green anoles can change from bright green to dark tan. I watched one with the green color jump onto a weathered 4x4 post and turn very dark very fast. Ooh, that's cool, actually. Is it like chameleon where, because the chameleons, they can change all kinds of different colors. Okay. I think I'm going to try using these tongs so I can get a little bit of a better grip. I'm not sure how well they'll work, though. Let's try this, though. They're not wanting to go on here very well, it looks like. So those two are now a lot farther apart. I'm having issues holding this stuff. But they're starting to get a little bit more splayed out like so. So I need to get that side, that one right there, splayed a little bit more. So we're going to get a little bit more heat, and we're going to keep on keeping on. I don't know. I hope it's working. I hope it's working. It's something. Definitely something. I need a different set of tongs, though. Those were not working well. Maybe these guys. These guys might work a little better. And then I don't know what else I got. But yeah, I should be able to use these. These are the flat jaw tongs that we made so that we could run, or so that we could do the discs for the armor and the ladle bowl. So hopefully those will work. I think we're also going to change hammers a little bit. What's the best hammer I think is going to work for this? It would be nice if I had another cross peen, but something a little smaller with a smaller head. This one kind of has a smaller head. Let's try this one. You got to be careful with this guy, though, because it doesn't have, the wedge has fallen out of it. So I got to be a little bit careful with it. All right. Let's see what we can get. Whoops. That did not work well. That did not work well at all. Dropping things. I don't know. I don't know how we're going to go about this. Kind of want to move that one that way a little bit more. I think the tail's starting to work a little bit better. All right. So I think our next couple of heats, we're going to kind of go on the edge and do a little bit there. Or maybe we'll come over here and work this side. That might work. This is definitely going to take me a while to figure out. I definitely need a better set of tongs, though. I'm still looking for something. These I don't think will work very well. Theoretically, these should work better, but I doubt they will because of the angle on them. You've got it! I hope so! I'm trying. I know very well that I will eventually get this, but it's going to take me a little bit of time to kind of figure out a couple of things. So, I don't know. If we don't make significant progress within the next half an hour, I'll probably push the rest of this back into Wednesday's stream. Hopefully we can finish it in time, though, because I'd like to do different animals every day. But I'm also, like, you know, still trying to figure out how this process works, you know? But it'll work. I'm confident. All right. We've got plenty of heat, so let's do another attempt. Okay. We're doing all right. We're making some progress. Getting the feet out of the way a little bit. So now we've kind of got a little bit going there. I wish we had a little bit of material to shove this direction on the back feet. Maybe we'll work a little bit on the body, right? If I can get a nice grip on this, then we can take this over to the horn and start working on the back. Oh, it's not. There it goes. It worked in. That's exciting. Might actually want to pull it the other direction. I don't know. Will I get it? I don't know. We'll do that for now. Okay. Slowly but surely, we're learning things as we go. I think this was a good decision to change over to a smaller hammer. That way I don't have to worry as much about the larger hammer getting in the way of myself. So I think I'll be all right. I do have to periodically, you know, hammer, you know, reset the head though. Ika96, thank you so much for that follow. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the community. I hope you're having fun. I know I am. Learning new processes. It's my favorite. Definitely my favorite thing to do. Hey, Bluesy. Hey, I'm here, but tired, so I may fall asleep. I do not blame you. It's probably pretty late for you at this point. We are going a little bit later today. I'll probably go for another half an hour, but once I get to that last half hour, I will be pretty tired. So I'm probably going to end the stream, and we will continue working on this piece on Wednesday. But hopefully we can make some more progress. All right, let's do some more. All right. Whoops, as I drop it again. So we're going to take a little bit of more time and kind of move the, we're going to kind of squish in the body a little bit. And I might actually change back to the other hammer. We're not doing at quite as much smaller stuff. So let's see what we can do there. It is late and in the middle of planting season, so I'm tired. I imagine. Yeah, I was just earlier in the stream, I was wondering if maybe you might be in planting season, because I know that we, the butler and I, decided this year that we were going to start a garden. And so we bought the seeds and all of the little like starter or seed starter things. So we have 5 different things that we're going to try and grow this year. So we've got onions, green peppers, we got some corn, tomatoes, and what was the last thing? I can't remember what the last thing was. Maybe it was scallions. Well, technically manure and planting season, late manure, early planting. I see. So we've got an ad coming up in about 3.5 minutes. Depends on what you're planting. Yeah, like I said, I'm those things and then something else. I can't remember. Maybe it's scallions, maybe it's actual onions. I can't remember. We also want to do a little bit of garlic. So that, I think we're just going to grab a bulb of garlic from the grocery store and plant that. But yeah, we figured that if we did the starter thing this week, then we could see about planting them within the next like week or two in the ground outside. So yeah, radishes are the winter for early garden success. Yeah, we didn't do radishes this year. We figure we would probably increase the size of the garden next year, but we did not do that this year. Oh, radishes are the winner for early garden success. I see. Winter, not winter. That makes sense. That makes sense. I think I'm going to wait a little bit longer until the ad is over before I do my next heat, just because I want to make sure that we've got plenty of heat in the body. The body's sticking out a little bit, so I think that the extra time will allow it to soak in. You'll get 3 or 4 radish harvests before your peppers are ready. I see. I don't know of any recipes with radishes. So if we decide to do radishes, then I guess I'll have to come up with some stuff. We're not really big veggie people, but the goal is really to cut down on the amount that the butler has to mow. We actually live on a 2-acre plot, and the butler does not have a riding lawnmower or like a tractor, so we do a lot of push mowing. So the less yard, the better. I grew some apocalypse scorpion peppers last year. I took a bite of one and it felt like I got stung by a wasp. Those things were hot. Man, that sounds hot. And I thought that like habaneros were hot. But I feel like every year I hear somebody has planted and grown some even hotter pepper than the last year. So I don't know. Breeding peppers seems to be the thing to do. I am planting grains, wheat, barley, etc., and grasses. Well, that makes sense because the grasses will help you feed your goats, and the grains and wheat and barley will help feed you. Gotta feed yourself and your animals. And I mean, you know, you can always sell, you know. I grew okra last year in a vegetable garden. Never again. So what was wrong with okra? Is it just is it not hardy? Did it die? Did it take over? Why? What was the issue with the okra? The ad break is going to end in about a minute, and then we will do another heat. And malted barley can make some tasty beverages. Ooh, I can imagine. I'm not really a big beer fan, but a lot of people are, you know? A lot of people like beer. And the okra was very prolific and easy to grow, but I tried fixing them in several different ways, even pickling, and they were slimy and nasty. Ooh. That's almost over. Yeah, we're not really veggie people either. The okra was very prolific and easy to grow, but I tried fixing them in several different ways, even pickling, and they were slimy nasty. I mean, I get it. I totally get it. We're trying to grow things that we think we'll eat or people we know will eat. You know what I mean? That way we can kind of like eat it or trade it or what have you. But yeah. All right, I'm going to keep on keeping on that. We're going to lengthen him out just a hair. And then we'll see what we can do from there. Well, the options were crocheting, music, games, or hitting hot metal. The decision was simple. Yeah. I mean, I won't lie. I also do a little bit of handicraft work. I used to do a lot of sewing. And I used to do some painting and I drew all the time. But you know what? I fell in love with blacksmithing and with metal. So, you know. And then I made it my career. So I do still have some hobbies, but I just have to be a little bit careful with, you know, how expensive and how much money I spend on my hobbies. Since this one is so expensive. Now only knits metal. There is totally a blacksmith that knits metal. I can't remember her name, but I believe she is the secretary of Abana. But yeah, she like crochets and knits metal. And she also does a lot of armor pieces, like dress armor. It's so cool. I'll have to look up her name so that I can post it in the Discord, because it's, you know, I wanna plug her work. It's really cool. Super cool. All right, let's do another heat. I'm going to do a couple rapid fire. You know what? I'm going to change the angle and then I'm going to do some rapid fire heats, just so that I have a little bit of variety with my camera angles. But I definitely want to do some rapid fire heats so that we can make quite a bit of progress, or at least I hope we can make some good progress. So we're going to go here. And then I think I want to move this way a little bit so we can see both the horn and the face. All right. There we go. Oops, I'm dropping things. Dropping things. All right, so I'm pretty happy with the body. I think it's a little bit wide still, but I think it's going to be all right. So I need to start working. I want to I want to take the edges off of here. Because right now it's pretty flat, but I want it to be a little bit more rounded, kind of like a crocodile's back. I do believe that this is going to take me longer than the time that I have allotted for our stream today, though. So we will continue working on this lizard on Wednesday's stream. Armor, especially male, is knitted metal. Yes, it is. It definitely is. But when I say knitted, or she does crochet and knitting, it's kind of like the active motion, not just like chainmail. She actually uses wire and like a crochet hook and stuff. All right, so like I said, we're gonna do a couple more heats and then I will probably end the stream. Like I said, I'm starting to get a little bit on the tired side, so like I said, we will continue working on this piece on Wednesday. So we're gonna draw out the tail and we're gonna shape the head a little bit, and then we'll probably address the legs a little bit as well, make them a little bit thinner and longer so we can kind of move them around and stuff. So this one might take us a couple days. Hopefully we'll be able to do a couple different animals, so maybe we'll start something on Friday. Thank you and have a nice day. Well, I'll do a couple more heats, but I'm getting there. I am starting to get a little tired. But yeah, I want to do 2 more heats. So we'll do a couple more and then we'll move on. Or not move on. I guess we'll raid off is what I'm trying to say. Alrighty, let's do another heat. Like I said, I want to do these a little bit more rapid fire so we can get them in there. You can tell, can't you? I'm getting tired. Brain's acting a little weird. a little funky. All right, we're starting to get somewhere. Not too bad. So we need to lengthen out the tail, kind of give ourselves a little bit of hip, and work on the front area. Oh, I think I made this like a little bit too low. All right, we're going to do one more heat, I think. One more heat, one more heat. So yeah. So for Wednesday, what we're gonna do is complete our either complete or break our lizard, and then we'll see what else we get to do after that for Wednesday stream, and then Friday we will start a new animal, I think. A new animal. All right, here we go. Last heat. For the day, at least. All right, that did not work the way I wanted it to, so we'll just do this heat. Okay. I'll come up with a good way to do that for next stream. All right, so we've got the body pretty well done. So the next thing that we need to do is work on the head and the tail and legs. So that is all she wrote for today. We'll get there. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. And have a great rest of your day. All right. So we're going to raid off. Who are we going to raid? GG, Ray. Thanks for the stream. Well, thank you for joining me. I hope you guys had fun. I know I did. Learning new things. think we're gonna raid off to Miramac. Okay, Ray, it was fun and entertaining again. See you next time. We'll see you. Give me just 1 second and I will raid off. I think we're gonna raid Miramac. Ooh. It's like we're doing a bit of work on the feet of some bowls and stuff. Or plates, maybe? Alrighty. Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you next time. Bye!